Hey, what's up guys? Dan from Masculine Evolution here. Think about this, right? When we were kids, we believed everything we were told. Nothing was in any way surprising. Everything that we were told about the world, we believed. And everything we were told about ourselves, we believed. We didn't actually have the part of the brain that reasons and questions. Apparently isn't fully developed until the age of around 5 and 6. Excuse me. So up to that point, our brain is in a similar brainwave frequency to that of someone being in a hypnotic state. When someone's in a hypnotic state, we can feed them information about themselves that they can then carry into their unconscious, and it forms a part of their identity and who they are. So if you're a smoker, you could see a hypnotherapist, he could suggest things about smoking that might make you feel uncomfortable, and therefore you would wish to avoid it. And that can be done with any belief we have about our sense of self, our worth, whether we think we're worthy of wealth or worthy of love. Really, like, our entire life is like an expression of our beliefs about ourselves. So if you could imagine someone who's very wealthy, who made that wealth themselves, it could be said, and in my case believed, that they had positive self-beliefs around finances and their worth, being worthy of earning a lot of money. Someone who has limiting beliefs around wealth, specifically around them not deserving or being capable of achieving wealth, then they're not going to be able to create it so easily. Which I think we can all agree with that. So this is the thing, right? So as a 3-year-old kid, if an elephant, a pink elephant with wings, flew past the window, you're not going to be surprised. If an octopus walked out of the sea and onto this beach here as a 3-year-old, it would be quite a fun experience, and in no way surprising or shocking, because everything that is experienced is just, that's it. You just accept that that's what's happened, right? Now, if I saw an octopus coming out of the sea talking, I would I would genuinely be pretty freaked out. I mean, nothing really surprises me these days, so I'd certainly be less freaked out than if it happened a few years ago. But I would certainly be questioning reality, like, what the fuck is going on there? Why is this? What's wrong with me? I would probably think I was going insane or something like that. So when it comes to things like manifestation and creation, or even like spirituality as a whole, like if you were born into a family who were a bit spiritual, they had some connection to God and they understood, who we are on a deeper level. They had a connection, or they believed that they were souls temporarily having a human experience, then the idea of that wouldn't seem in any way strange to us. For people who haven't had parents like that, which was most of us, me included, the idea that manifestation is real can seem totally far out and just not connected to reality in any way. But when you think about it, we just weren't taught that. When you look at history, it was taught for many thousands of years by people who weren't so distracted by the world, and then therefore were connected with themselves and explored consciousness at a very, very deep level for many, many, many generations. And they came up with certain truths that came out as a result of that. And one is that we are souls that are temporarily having a human experience, and we're also manifestations of God. We're creators. We can create the reality that we choose. Now, if I heard myself saying these things 6 years ago, I genuinely would have thought that I had gone insane, and I would have been terrified that I would be eventually turning into who I am now with these beliefs. And that's because no one had actually told me. I'd never been educated on what I believe now is the truth of that. So that's why when people have awakening experiences who have been brought up in more conservative families, or just families that don't have any connection with God or spirituality, it can be very jarring and it can be very terrifying, because reality as we knew it has been twisted and bended into something that we originally thought can't be real. So we can often question our own sanity around that. And it also encourages us to hide these experiences that we might have had from the people that we know and love, because they themselves would be in the mindset of, that's ridiculous, there's something wrong with you. If you're having an experience of something otherworldly outside of this reality, then as far as science is confirmed, you've gone insane. But when you think about it like this, you've just been brought, especially if we live in the West, we've been brought up in families, or in society, should I say, that have been heavily conditioned over the last however many hundreds of years, and history seems to suggest that powerful religious organisations, I'm thinking of like Catholic Church specifically, that went around killing and burning anyone who had connection with Source, or who practiced any form of spirituality or natural forms of healing. They were all killed and tortured, and therefore everyone was terrified to explore spirituality in any way. And we are born into societies that have come from that fear, and so we weren't told about all this. And then of course you're going to seem weird, like if you start openly talking about manifestation to a lot of your friends and family, they're going to think you're crazy. Or not everyone will, but a lot will. But when you think about it, it's just based on the society that you were brought up in. But in societies that didn't have such trauma around such a thing, then spirituality and the idea of manifestation is something that could have been explored and tried out, and then that would allow the person who's doing it to have some experience in their own life, so they can start forming beliefs as to whether it's real. But if you have anyone in your life, or if you instantly dismiss things like this as it can't be real, then it just goes to show that that person's not spent any time in contemplation or applying it to their own life to see if it works. But if they were to look at their own life and even question who they think they might be, they might start realizing that reality is not quite what it was made out to be, and that we're not exactly who we were made out to be. I mean, just to leave you with something to contemplate is imagination. Like, what the fuck is imagination? No one, I don't know about you guys, but no one told me about the imagination. It was just this thing that we had. Yet at school we learned about all the other things that we have. We learned about our brain, we learned about our bodies, our organs, right? We learned all these things about who we were. But we seem to live with this ability to see, to visualize and to experience without senses. Like, I can close my eyes and imagine any scenery I want. I can create any world I want. I can create any situation and any scenario that I want through imagination, right? And what is imagination? I don't even know if science can even say what it is. But isn't it crazy that within ourselves we have the ability to create any form of reality or object or idea, and then we also have the ability to bring it from the imagination, from thought, into the physical realm, which we do through our bodies. Now that's not me being a spiritual nut job, that's just me explaining the process of creation that we all live by, every single one of us. I don't know if it's possible to deny that. You look at every object that you see, it all once began in someone's imagination. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, there's not many objects around here right now. The Bluetooth microphone I've got that allows you guys to hear me a little clearer than if I was just using my camera microphone. Now, the idea of a Bluetooth microphone would have seemed impossible up until the point where it wasn't, but at some point it would have come through into someone's imagination, and they might have noticed that they had a thought or an image or a vision of a wireless microphone, and that may have existed and appeared in many people's imagination before eventually someone took action on it and completed the creation process of bringing it from the imagination realm into the physical realm. I heard a quote once, I can't remember the exact words or who it was by, but it was suggesting that an idea isn't yours until completed or until taken action on. So we can have many different ideas that come into our imagination, and if you want to start tapping into more creativity, more inspiration about the direction you want to be heading in life, you need to come out of survival mode. You want to start regulating your nervous system, which means you feel safer in the serve, you're less looking out for what could go wrong, and therefore you're able to pick up on the inspiration that comes through from your higher self, that it's almost sending out breadcrumbs towards your desired reality, wherever that is. A lot of people just do this effortlessly. I know people who would potentially judge the idea of manifestation, or at least not see it as true or real, but they're actually completing the manifestation process every single day of their lives. They're just unaware that they're doing it because it's effortless for them. They have an idea and then they take that idea through to completion, and then that's just done. It's just something that they've done. But when you look at it, they've come up with an idea. They had an idea first that existed in their imagination, in the thought realm, and then they birthed it through into the physical realm. So when it comes to your own personal self-development, if you're wanting to make more money, let's say, if you're wanting to have more enriching relationships, whatever your goal is, whatever experiences you want to start creating in your life, first it must exist in the imagination realm, so you can get to know it up in, essentially, is what's known as the energy realm. And I know I might lose some people when I say that, but is it really that far out to imagine that, to consider that we tapped into an energy, a source of energy, considering everything is energy and science has proven that already? I mean, and yeah, but whatever. So everything starts from the imagination. Now, if you think about it, a lot of people might have had the idea for the wireless speaker, a wireless microphone, I should say. Apologies if I've been saying speaker, I mean microphone. But they didn't take action on it. Why didn't they? They didn't believe they could do it. They didn't believe it was possible. Maybe they realised it was actually possible, but they were afraid of failing. whatever it was that got in the way of that creation process, so it stayed in their imagination realm, it stayed up here as a visualization. Now if you understand the chakras, you could say the visualization is sort of the third eye chakra, right? If you listen to Conor McGregor, he talks about how you must have the courage to speak what it is you want to create. Now that's the first step, right? It's to bring it from the imagination into this physical realm using our body, is to start speaking from that place. Do you have the courage to say what you want to do? Because if you don't, it would imply that there's some shame you have around it, and therefore it's going to make it very hard in order to create it into this physical realm when you have shame around the very thing that you're wanting to create. So noticing if you hold back from speaking your truth about where you're going in life. And then you using the other chakras, such as bringing it down into your heart and being able to feel the love for whatever it is you want to create and put out into this world. Also, you can use the lower chakras to ground the your idea or your goal, your manifestation into this into your lower body, so you feel more grounded around this vision. So when things go a bit wrong, the more grounded you are, the more likely you are to continue in the direction you're heading in, rather than stopping and retreating back to safety, which is very common for almost all of us. Well, pretty much all of us. We just do it in different ways. Yeah, I hope that all made sense. Thanks for listening, guys, and please subscribe for more.